It was a quiet Thursday morning when everything shattered. I had just made a fresh cup of coffee, still wearing the oversized hoodie Daniel loved on me so much, hair in a messy bun, sitting cross-legged on the sofa while our rescue cat snored on the windowsill. I logged into my bank account out of habit, just to check, to dream a little. I imagined one day seeing that balance climb enough to afford the intimate lakeside wedding I had always pictured. Nothing grand, just close friends, twinkling lights, a rented cabin for a weekend of love, laughter, and commitment. I was almost there, or so I thought. The number blinked on the screen, and for a moment I thought I was reading it wrong. I rubbed my eyes, refreshed the page, refreshed it again, but it was still there. $346.78. My heart dropped into my stomach. I froze, my fingers hovered over the keyboard, thoughts swirling like a tornado. What happened? Where did it go? A scam? Identity theft? Had I been hacked? My chest tightened as I called the bank. My voice cracked when I gave them my information, nearly whispering the words. I could barely hold the phone as the agent explained calmly that the transaction had been made the previous afternoon. Not by an external source, not by a hacker, but by an authorized party with shared access. My mother. I nearly dropped the phone. The pieces came together faster than I could speak. Months ago, during a family dinner, my mom had asked to help me manage the account. She said it would be safer since she was older, wiser, and had handled all our family finances growing up. I had been reluctant, but she made it sound like a temporary supportive gesture, just in case something happened, a backup, a formality. God, I was stupid. I didn't even bother driving over. I took an Uber and stormed into their house like a firestorm. My father was in the backyard setting up chairs and tables, and the smell of smoked ribs hit me before I saw the barbecue banners. Family BBQ bash. Josh's big launch. They read. And that's when I knew. I didn't even need to go inside. I knew exactly where my wedding fund had gone, but I did go inside. I had to. My mother was standing in the kitchen with a giant tray of ribs, her apron smeared with sauce, her eyes wide and unashamed. She turned and smiled like nothing was wrong. Sweetheart, you made it early. Come taste this dry rub. Josh got the blend from a real Texas pitmaster. I didn't even blink. Where's my money? The smile faded just a little. What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean, I hissed, pulling out my phone and showing her the transaction. $18,000 gone into your account yesterday. What did you do? She didn't apologize. She didn't even flinch. Oh, for goodness sake. Don't be so dramatic, she muttered, placing the tray down. You'll make the money back. You always do. But Josh needed this. This is his dream, and he's finally taking something seriously. We had to help him. I repeated, my voice low, shaking. My dad walked in then, wiping sweat from his brow, holding a can of beer, and looking far too pleased with himself. Hey, kiddo, you see the grill set up? Pretty sweet. Ha, your brother's a real entrepreneur now. I stared at him in disbelief. You helped her take my wedding fund for this? My mom rolled her eyes. Don't act like you're getting married tomorrow. You've been engaged for a year and haven't even set a date. It's just a party fund. It's not like we ruined your life. A party fund? My knees nearly buckled from the rage that was bubbling inside me. It wasn't just the money. It was what it represented. Every hour I stayed late at the office. Every weekend I skipped out to save. Every dress I didn't buy. Every little indulgence I said no to because I had a dream and I worked hard for it. And they threw it away for smoked meats and picnic tables. I turned and walked out. Daniel was waiting for me outside in the car. He saw my face and didn't ask. He just drove. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I sat silently on our couch. The same cat still curled up by the window, and I stared at the wall. Hours passed, and somewhere around midnight, Daniel placed his hand over mine and said, "We'll find a way." But you need to let this change you, not break you. What are you going to do? That's when the idea came. Because if they thought I was going to walk away quietly like I always had, they had no idea who they'd just messed with. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg for it back. I was going to give them something they'd never forget. The next few days were quiet, not because I was numb, but because I was calculating. I watched my parents' social media posts of the legendary family barbecue, complete with comments raving about Josh's incredible business launch, videos of clinking glasses and sizzling meat. My mother's smile was ever present, gloating in her apron, her arm draped around my brother like she'd just given birth to a local celebrity. Daniel kept asking me if I was okay, and I'd nod, but he knew something was coming. I wasn't built to let this go. You see, when someone breaks you in such a personal, targeted way, someone you trusted implicitly, it either destroys you or sharpens you. And I was done playing the role of the understanding daughter. 2 days later, I sat down with a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, but a sharp, no-nonsense family attorney Daniel's cousin had used in a messy estate dispute. I showed her the bank documents, the shared account access history, and the digital trail left behind by my parents. They accessed your private wedding fund, removed the money without your permission, and funneled it into an account under their name for an unrelated purpose, she said, tapping her pen. They framed it as family use. But unless there's a signed agreement or a clear joint claim, this is theft. Financial exploitation, to be specific. I filed a civil suit the next morning. My parents received the court notice a week later. The same day they tried calling me 9 times in a row, I ignored everyone. When they finally reached Daniel, I overheard him say calmly into the phone, "If she were a stranger, you'd already be in handcuffs. Be thankful she's only suing." They tried guilt-tripping me naturally. My mom left a voicemail crying, saying she only did what any mother would do to support a struggling child. My dad texted saying, "Family isn't supposed to fight like this." Oh, the irony. But what they didn't know was that this was only the beginning. I began documenting everything, every instance over the years where they used me as their financial backup plan. Times I paid off. Their bills covered Josh's car repairs, even paid the mortgage one Christmas because things were tight. I wasn't just seeking repayment. I wanted to expose a pattern they'd spent years normalizing. They had always taken from me and handed it to my brother, the golden child. Meanwhile, Josh, not a word. He didn't call. He didn't explain. He posted pictures of a new smoker he bought with blessing. Money. I wanted to tell her I paid for my own groceries, my own prescriptions, everything except the roof, which technically I had already paid for decades ago. But I didn't. My heart was pounding too hard. My mind was already drifting back to Richard's voice. Keep the papers safe, Clarice. Documentation is protection. I excused myself and shut the door to my room, the so-called guest room, and sat on the bed. My mind spun. I thought of my house in Maplewood, the one Jason had told me we'd figure out later. I hadn't been inside in 3 years, but the deed was still in my name. The next morning, I called my oldest friend, Marion. She'd known Richard and me since before we married. When I told her what had happened, she didn't sound shocked. She sounded furious. "Clarice, whose name is on that deed? Mine?" I said slowly. "Mine and Richard's, but he's gone. So it's yours," she finished. "And why are you living like a tenant when you own property outright?" Her words landed heavy. That night, I dug out the small lockbox from under my bed. Inside were all the important papers Richard and I had kept, insurance, military records. And there it was, the deed to the Maplewood house. My name printed clear as day under it. A note in Richard's handwriting, "Clarice, this is yours always. Don't let anyone take it from you." I pressed the paper to my chest. The sting of tears sharpened my eyes. A week later, I sat in attorney Daniel Collins's office. He ran a quick title search. "Clarice." He said, "Browse knitting. Your house is still in your name, But 6 months ago, someone filed a loan application using it as collateral. The signature doesn't match yours. It was Melissa's plan. Clear as daylight. Get me to sign something under pressure. Claim power of attorney. Sell my house and leave me with nothing. Daniel's voice cut through my shock. The good news, you still hold all the legal cards. The bad news, you're living under the same roof as the people who tried to take them. The Saturday after Thanksgiving, Melissa came to my room at 7 o'clock in the morning. All business. Two movers in matching polo shirts stood behind her, boxes in hand. Morning, Clarice. The guest room is needed for other purposes. So, since you haven't agreed to pay rent, you'll need to vacate today. I've already arranged a room for you at Silverpine's assisted living. You'll thank me later. She tried to step inside, but I stood my ground. Don't touch anything. Melissa tilted her head like she was humoring a child. Clarice, let's not make this difficult. I can call the police and tell them you're trespassing in our home. Our home? That was the last straw. Actually, I said, reaching for the folder on my dresser, it's my home. Paid off in 2010. Title's in my name. I have the deed right here. The movers shifted uncomfortably. Melissa blinked, her confident smirk faltering. Jason, she called over her shoulder. He appeared in the hallway, hair mussed from sleep, eyes wary. What's going on? Clarice thinks she owns this place. Melissa said with a brittle laugh. I held the deed up between us. Think. I know. And here's something else. Loan applications with a forged signature using this house as collateral. Daniel Collins, my attorney, has copies. He's also found 3 credit cards opened in my name. That's identity theft, Melissa. A federal crime. Melissa's face went pale. Jason looked like he might be sick. I stepped forward, my voice steady. You have 30 minutes to remove anything that's actually yours. After that, the locks change. Jason finally spoke. Mom, wait. No. You had a choice to protect me, and you didn't. You stood by while she tried to steal the house your father worked his life for. Melissa tried to rally. Clarice, you've been forgetting things, leaving the stove on. We were just trying to make sure you were safe. Nice try. I've already had a full medical evaluation this week. Perfectly sound mind. Thank you. That line won't work in court. I could see her calculating, trying to find a way out, but I didn't give her one. I picked up my phone. Shall I call the police now, or will you leave voluntarily? She grabbed Jason's arm and stormed off toward their bedroom, muttering under her breath. Drawers slammed. Suitcases zipped. The movers had already retreated to their truck. 27 minutes later, Melissa's SUV screeched out of the driveway, Jason following behind in his pickup. I watched from the front window, the deed still in my hand. For the first time in years, I felt the house exhale like it knew it was mine again.